What's up, everybody? Today, the plan is to murder Viconia and her lackeys. These humanoids are horrible creatures, blindly following a vicious goddess and her cult. On top of that, they have been manipulating Shadowheart from a young age. They even made her unknowingly torture her own parents for years. So yeah, justice needs to be served. Viconia is pretty scary actually. She has a ton of legendary abilities, and there are a lot of enemies in this fight. Here are some of Viconia's abilities to watch out for. She can frighten targets, which is pretty much game over for solo runs. She can cast Sanctuary on herself and her allies, which means that you cannot attack her directly. She has Sentinel Snare, which will pin you down right next to her. She has Radiant Retort, so you have to avoid dealing radiant damage. She has many more abilities, but I couldn't fit all of them here. The enemies in this fight love to cast darkness, and we will try to take advantage of that. We will use Shar's Spear of the Evening as the offhand weapon, which will give us immunity to blindness, advantage on saving throws while obscured, and an extra 1d6 damage to creatures that are obscured. Pretty cool. This is one of the best weapons in the game. For the main hand, we will use Crimson Mischief, which gives us 7 piercing damage when attacking with advantage. Notice that you will need the dual Yielder feat in order to equip these weapons at the same time. We will cast Circuitry Interface before battle, which will give us advantage on all hits for 10 turns. We are equipping the Vicious Shortbow as our ranged weapon, which gives us Dolor Amarus in order to get an extra 7 damage per critical hit. For this fight, I respect to a level 5 Ranger, level 3 Bard, level 4 Assassin Rogue with Ambush, which means that the focus will be on getting a surprise round during which any successful attack roll will be a critical hit. Since all these weapons are dealing piercing damage, we are equipping the Baalist Armor to make all enemies near us vulnerable to piercing damage. It also gives us +2 to Initiative, which is probably the most important stat for solo fights. To complete the build, we equip the Grimskull Helm to protect against critical hits. The Boots of Psionic Movement gives us extra damage if we cast Fly. The Spine Shudder Amulet will apply reverberation on enemies when we cast damage spells. The Crater Flesh Gloves will deal an additional 1d6 damage per critical hit per damage source. The Caustic Band gives us an extra 2 acid damage, and the Killer Sweetheart's Ring will guarantee a critical hit whenever we need it. Finally, we use the Cloak of Protection for improved armor class. Here's the plan. We apply Circuitry Interface during a potion of invisibility and walk right in. Cast Minor Illusion to draw enemies together, then cast Cloud Kill to get a surprise round. Minor Illusion does not break invisibility, so we can cast it as many times as we need. Now that enemies are all clustered together, we enter a turn-based mode so that they cannot move. You can see here that we will have Form of Artifice for 6 more turns. The most consistent way to get a surprise round here is to be in line of sight of as many enemies as possible. We got the surprise round. Now we have 2 turns to finish off as many enemies as we can. This is all of Viconia's crazy abilities in honor mode. Here I will use the Air Elemental Summon to apply the wet condition to as many enemies as possible in order to double the damage of lightning spells. In addition, I will pop a haste spore grenade, which will give us extra actions and +2 to armor class. Unlike a speed potion, the haste spore grenade does not make us lethargic after 3 turns, and it can haste all allies in the field at the cost of movement speed. This is one of the best items in the game. It will last for 3 turns. If any other condition is applied on top of the haste spore grenade, like for example darkness or cloud kill, it will disappear, so we need to place it out of the way. I have already given the air elemental an elixir of vigilance in order to improve its initiative. I will also give it an invisibility potion so that it can start the battle at an advantageous placement on the field.
Never a dull moment.
Alright, we are ready. Time to have some fun. Notice the vulnerability to piercing damage due to the aura of murder applied by the Baalist armor. This enemy had 195 hit points. This was crazy damage. We had a guaranteed critical hit with advantage, Shar's Blessing, Dolor Amarus, Crimson Mischief, Sneak Attack. The build appears to be working. My character has already consumed an elixir of bloodlust. Now we need to kill an enemy without using Call the Weak in order to get the extra action. Viconia is already down to 69 hit points.
Nothing important is ever easy.
Viconia takes 34 damage at the beginning of her turn from Cloud Kill. Now she has only 35 hit points remaining. It is time to murder her. We cast Cloud Kill one more time. Without Viconia's help, the rest of the enemies are very easy to kill, and we have already taken the most dangerous enemies off the board. Since we still have Form of Artifice, we get advantage on every attack, which means that we can also sneak attack if we need to. And that's it for today's murder in Baldur's Gate. I hope you enjoyed this video. I have learned all of these strategies from some of the best Baldur's Gate players on YouTube and Twitch. Please go give them a follow, and see you for the next episode of A Murder in Baldur's Gate, where we take on Enver Gortash.